Hello there, everyone, and welcome to episode 54 of the Play to Win podcast, a show where we break down the week's biggest gaming news to in-depth discussion. My name is Keiran, and I'm, of course, joined by my awesome, amazing, fantastic co-host, Tyler. How are you doing, my friend?
As you can see, I'm stretching right now because the body's a bit tense, the muscles are a bit tight, so I need to stretch some. The chair is comfortable, but not the most comfortable. So gotta get a good stretching right now. But aside from that, right now, okay, I'm doing pretty well. It's been a gangbuster of a week. Kingdom Hearts hype. Let's go. You already know what's going to happen this week. You already know what this episode is going to be about, mainly about, at the very least. You could tell from the headline. You could tell if you've seen the headlines this week, you already know what was going to be going on this week. So I'm hype. I'm excited. I've been riding on a high since Sunday. We'll get into that when we get to it, though. So
yeah. I watched the trailer this morning in preparation for today, so I'm excited to get into it. But before we get into it, just need to remind everyone to subscribe and take the notification bell here on YouTube so you know when new podcast episodes go live, and subscribe on podcast services. It helps us out a bunch, and we really appreciate it. I'll preview the topics for this episode first. We're going to talk about some Kingdom Hearts stuff, I guess. Then we're going to move on to CD Projekt Red updates, and finally Certain Affinity and Halo Infinite. But we're just going to jump right on in, and I'm going to throw over to Tyler,
yes.
our resident Kingdom Hearts expert.
Yeah. So there was an anniversary event, and like I said, a week or two ago, like this anniversary event was coming up, and when it came, it was going to be Kingdom Hearts talking that day. I knew for a fact we were going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts a bunch this week. We were expecting something. We didn't know exactly what to expect, though, right? Because 20th anniversary, we're expecting, all right, they'll announce some stuff, what have you. They'll probably give us updates on mobile games. They'll probably announce some mobile stuff. Who knows if they'll announce like the next Kingdom Hearts game, like the next mainline one. Yeah. Shot in the dark, like at most they'll announce it. Hopefully we get more than that. That was the expectation. And boy, did Square Enix deliver. They did deliver. I gotta tell you, they delivered. I'll start. So first off, here's what happened. This event was in Japan. It wasn't streamed or anything. Only like a select number of people were able to get in because there was like a lottery system of sorts. So the event happened, and it was like an exhibit first, and people were like taking pictures of the exhibit. There was all this artwork there and stuff. It was really cool, really neat and stuff. Now, mind you, this is happening like Japan time. So when it's happening here, it's like 1-2 o'clock in the morning. It was just like, I'll wake up and see everything that happened. So that they announced a bunch of stuff, and they dropped all the game announcements in one like 7-8 minute video. First up, Kingdom Hearts Key Dark Road, which is the mobile game, which it's kind of like a prequel telling the story of Master Xehanort before Kingdom Hearts even started, like basically how he came to be the evil villain that he is and all. I have not played Dark Road. I played like a tiny bit of Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key when the mobile game first came out. Played a bit of it, fell off it super hard. I kind of follow the story here and there based on like Twitter updates every now and then the people will post. So I know certain things that happen in it, but I don't know too much about it. Don't know really much about the story of Dark Road. But we got an update on that. For the longest time, the final chapter in that has been awaited to come out. It'll be coming out, I believe they said in August or September is when the final Dark Road update will be coming out, which is cool for those who have been looking forward to it. I need to brush up on all the mobile stuff because it's going to play a key role in Kingdom Hearts 4. We'll get to that soon. So they announced that. Everyone expected that. Okay, cool. What's next? Another mobile game, Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, which is it's weird. It's like a Pokemon Go type style thing where like you said you saw the trailer, right? Or did you only watch the Kingdom Hearts 4?
I only watched the Kingdom Hearts 4 stuff.
Oh, okay. So the Kingdom Hearts Missing Link thing, it's weird because it's a mobile game where you can you can play it vertical or horizontal, right? And vertically, like your character, you make your own character, and you can walk around when you're playing the game, kind of like you do in Pokemon Go and all. but when it gets to combat, like it looks like actual Kingdom Hearts, like Kingdom Hearts 3 style graphics and everything.
Okay.
In terms of the combat and visuals. And the combat has moves that are in like mainline Kingdom Hearts, but it looks like it's going to use like gacha mechanics. So like you can use this move if you have this character, you use this move if you have this type of statue and all like that. So like that's just what we could gather from the trailer that we saw. Visually, it looks cool though. It looks cool. I'm actually more interested in that than I ever was about Unchained Key or Union Cross, those mobile games and stuff. And the story implications on this one, they said that this one is like gonna really tie together all the mobile games and kind of bridge gaps and stuff between the mobile games and Kingdom Hearts 4 and everything. It's Kingdom Hearts. Everything is connected in some way, shape, or form, whether you like it or not. So you gotta find a way. You know, like if you want to be up to date on everything, you gotta play the games. For the mobile stuff, watch cutscenes, follow. You just gotta be on it with Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
And at least this mobile game looks like it could be fun. We don't know anything else about it. But they did say that a beta is gonna be happening in the fall of this year for iOS and Android. I believe it's a closed beta test, but a beta is coming in the fall for iOS and Android, which is cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. And that's everything, right? Nothing else.
Nothing else. No, nothing like game changing, mind blowing, universe shattering. Nothing like that to like utterly change the course of a person's entire week before the week has even begun. No, I joke, of course. We both joke because the one thing that all of us wanted was, hey, is Kingdom Hearts 4 getting announced? Announce Kingdom Hearts 4. Just at the very least, say it's a thing that exists and is happening, right? There was also the people have been theorizing for a while that the next game might not be Kingdom Hearts 4, but that the next mainline one will be called Verum Rex. Reason for this being that, stick with me here, okay, Keiran?
Okay.
And other listeners, stick with me. And Kingdom Hearts 3, when you're in the Toy Story world, you end up coming the Rex, the dinosaur Rex. He sees you. He's like, "Oh, look, it's Yozora from the game I played." And you're like, "I'm not Yozora. My name is Sora. What you talking about?" So then, as part of that game's world story, you end up going to this toy store. In the toy store, there's a video game store. In that video game store, there's a video game called Verum Rex, and you actually see like a trailer for the game. And the trailer for that game it is very much Versus 13, Final Fantasy Versus 13 inspired. Like from the characters to the world that they're in, it is very much Versus 13 inspired. And the main character of Verum Rex is someone called Yozora, who looks a lot like Noctis. He doesn't really look like Sora, but looks a lot like Noctis. Again, very Versus 13 inspired. So at the time, we were just like, okay, cool. That's the thing. You get to the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, right? Mm-hmm. You see the secret ending, and the secret ending has Sora and Riku in what looks to be the real world, right? And in this place, you see Yozora there. So it's like, whoa, what's going on here? What's happening? It's Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, the DLC that came out. That has like all the secret super bosses and stuff like that, right? The final secret boss, after you beat all the data fights, is Yozora. You fight him in what appears to be his world. It's kind of like, it's weird where the fight takes place, right? But you fight him. After you finish that fight, a cutscene plays that I swear to God is shot for shot one of the original trailers for Final Fantasy Versus 13. And at that moment, it's with Yozora in it. And at that moment, we were all like, oh my God. Nomura is literally going to do Final Fantasy Versus 13 in the next Kingdom Hearts game. And there's potential for the next Kingdom Hearts game to not be Kingdom Hearts 4, but to be called Verum Rex, because that's the game that Yozora was in. That's why everyone was thinking. Okay. So did you stuck with me?
Yes.
There?
Yeah, I follow you.
Okay. So that's why people thought the next game might not be Kingdom Hearts 4, but instead be called Verum Rex and focus on Yozora instead. That's not happening right now. That's not what we got. We got Kingdom Hearts 4. Kingdom Hearts 4. And not just an announcement. Not just an announcement, my dear people. And at this point is when Keiran will pop on the trailer
Yeah.
for everyone to see. We didn't just get the announcement. We got a trailer. We got a 3-minute and change, almost 4-minute long trailer that was, according to Square Enix, all in Unreal Engine 4. The game will be made in Unreal 5, but this trailer was in Unreal 4.
Okay.
And it just... I'm sorry for anyone. Sorry, that was a bit too close to the mic. Blew my freaking mind. Oh my gosh. First things first. There is no date. There's no release date for this, no release window, none of that. No one would have expected that anyway. So it's clear the game's early in development, but it's been in development for, I would imagine, a fair amount of time at this point. Probably about 2 years at this point, considering Remind came out in 2020, and the original game came out in 2019 for Kingdom Hearts 3. So, fair amount of time. But this trailer, so like the one thing that's been taking everyone by storm is the fact that, whoa, visually looks really weird. It looks weird. It looks realistic. Like, why? There's a reason for it. But Keiran, what? You're not a Kingdom Hearts guy. I know you're not. But you said you watched the trailer in preparation for today.
Yeah.
Just what were your thoughts on this? I just want to hear your thoughts on it. And specifically, like right now, what you thought of, like, well, this looks weird. This looks different visually.
Yeah, I mean that's the first thing I noticed, to be honest. Is, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it looks good. It looks great. But
yeah,
at least from like a visual standpoint. But I was watching it and I'm like, don't know how Kingdom Hearts fans are going to feel about that. The fact that it looks like a lot different than in previous games.
Okay, so the reason that he looks like that the game looks like that, is because in Kingdom Hearts, every world's kind of different, right, in terms of their looks. And when you go to certain worlds, Sora's appearance changes based on the world's appearance, so that he fits in. It doesn't stick out.
Okay.
So when you go to Halloween Town, him, Donald, and Goofy, they're in like Halloween type outfits. When you go to Atlantica, Sora's a merman. Donald is like an octopus, and Goofy is a turtle. You know, when you go to the Toy Story world, they are toys. They look like themselves, but they're in toy form.
Yeah.
When you go to certain worlds, their appearance changes to fit in. It's part of the world order, as they say in the original game. So the thing is, in all the Kingdom Hearts games so far up to now, though, every world still has like a consistent. The game still has a consistent visual style.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? This world that they're in now, Quadratum, which is where the trailer takes place, which is a world of fiction or unreality. I'm just throwing out all these terms, and I know people are saying, what the actual F is he talking about? What does that mean? What does that make sense? The world of Quadratum, it's based on the real world, in a sense. That's why the place that they're in, Quadratum, looks like straight up Tokyo, looks like Japan.
Yeah.
Because it's based on the real world. So because it's based on the real world, it has a more realistic appearance to it, a more realistic visual aesthetic to that world. So that's why Sora looks like an actual real JRPG anime protagonist, like with the realistic appearance. Like he just stepped out of Final Fantasy VII Remake, in a sense. That's why he looks like that. Us Kingdom Hearts fans, we understand that. We're like, okay, we get it. That's why you look like that. And the end of the trailer, when we see Donald and Goofy, that confirms, okay, the game is still going to have the classic type of Kingdom Hearts aesthetic to it, because that showed them in what appeared to be the underworld of Olympus, looking for Hades. We see the blue flame pop up.
Yeah.
We could tell, oh wait, that blue flame, that's like the art, that's the aesthetic of Hercules' world, of Olympus and everything. Oh, they're going to look for Hades to maybe get some answers on, hey, Lord of the Dead of the underworld, do you know anything about the afterlife where we could find Sora maybe? But that served to show, like, hey, we're still gonna have the classic aesthetic. And Tetsuya Nomura did confirm, hey, if Sora does ever go back to his original world, to the regular worlds, his appearance would change back to normal as well. So
okay,
that's all confirmed.
So
I didn't know if you had anything to say, like, okay.
Oh, no. As in, like, continuing on from where I left off.
Yes.
I was wondering who the person at the end was who like you didn't see the character you just because I've never actually seen Hercules. So
Oh, so that was Hades. Like
yeah.
almost guaranteed that was Hades because
Okay.
he's normally blue, but when he gets like worked up, his flames turn red and orange.
Okay.
So like 9 times out of 10, that was Hades.
Okay. I'm with you now. The last thing I will say is after watching the trailer, I'm like, should I play Kingdom Hearts? Kind of this trailer kind of makes me want to.
I mean, I'll say if there's a time, now's the time. We got a bit before Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out. So you can get the all-in-one package, I think, for like $30, which has every game except for the mobile ones. And then the mobile ones, you can just like YouTube the cutscenes.
Yeah.
And that'll just catch you up on all that. Honestly. Like now is the time to do it if you're gonna do it.
I might try it out. You never know. Might see that pop up on my what you've been playing 1 week.
If I ever do, that's gonna be a glorious day. But no, yeah, like this trail, like when I tell you I woke up Sunday and hoped to see this, and I did see this, and then I could not function for like 4 hours because it was just like I had to make myself stop watching it and get off. I had to make myself stop watching it so I could go eat breakfast. I had to make myself stop watching it and stop talking about it so I could go do laundry. I had to make myself like stop doing stuff related to it so I could do other things I needed to do because I was just riding on such a high. Because a mainline Kingdom Hearts announcement does not come very often. It is few and far between. But when it comes, it comes. Yeah. And it's just like time to revel in this. Like this is I've seen this video on Twitter before, and I think I've said it on the show before, but it's like us Kingdom Hearts fans were like kind of like so starved for news that when new stuff happens, it's like we just don't shut up about it. We don't shut up about it at all. That's all we talk about. That's all we think about for like the foreseeable future. So I'm just like I was on such a high, just like, oh my gosh, Sora, you look so different. But the more I look at it, you still look just like you. And then we have Strelitzia here, who is a character in the mobile games, which I haven't the girl. Lady? Yeah, the girl, yeah. Which I haven't really seen all the cutscenes for Unchained Key and Union Cross, but I kind of know what happens with her and stuff. Like she ends up dying at some point, which is why she's there. She's like, yeah, this place we call it. For you and I, this is a place we would call the afterlife, but this is called Quadratum here and everything. So it's like, okay, she's here. Does
Sora die at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3?
I mean, yes and no. It's kind of weird. Like, essentially, yes. But in Kingdom Hearts, you never really, really die. Like, some characters in Kingdom Hearts die and stay dead. But others, it's like, you're dead, but you're back. It's a bit weird, which is why I'm like, he's dead, but not really. So it's like we'll see what happens. So kind of sort of, yeah.
So, it sounds like 15 seasons of Supernatural. No one ever really dies.
I've never seen that show, actually. Never seen it.
It's very good.
Speaking of shows I want to compare to Kingdom Hearts, have you ever, real quick tangent, you don't watch Riverdale, do you? I mean, I don't either, but you don't.
No.
Okay, so like every now and then I'll see on Twitter like some page, I think like discussing film, their Twitter account will be like the next episode of Riverdale or something is gonna have this plot line, and like one of them is like, yeah, they return from the multiverse and they now have superpowers. It's just like, what? And then there's another one I saw where it's like, yeah, this episode or the next season is going to involve a time travel plot where they go back in time to try and figure out the murder of this. It's just like, what are y'all smoking in the writer's room? This show started off as like a darker murder mystery version of Archie, and now we're doing multiverse, superpowers, and time travel. So I tweeted out, I was like, they're just one episode away from becoming a Kingdom Hearts episode show at this point. Like one episode away from being the CW's version of Kingdom Hearts. Because what the heck is even going on?
Yeah.
Like I don't watch it, but I kind of want to watch it just to understand all this craziness.
I always thought that show was like some like high school drama kind of thing.
It's supposed to be, but there's also a scene in the show where I believe it's in high school. One of the characters says to Archie, he's like, I dropped out of school when I was in the 4th grade to run drugs to make money for my grandmother. To which Archie says, So then you never knew the highs and lows of high school football. What? Meanwhile, the both of them look like they're in their 30s. None of it makes sense. It doesn't make sense.
I might have to watch Riverdale just to like wrap my head around that.
Yeah, as I said, that's why I said in the tweet, Riverdale's like an episode away from just being Kingdom Hearts on the CW, essentially. It sounds, everything I hear about just sounds absolutely insane, but hilarious at the same time.
Yeah.
Back to Kingdom Hearts though. As you can see, my brain is going all over the place in terms of Kingdom Hearts 4 and everything. Strelitzia, really intrigued to see what's going to be going on with her. The gameplay that we saw, quote unquote gameplay, it looked really cool. And they also said that the whole trailer was in engine, but like at the same time, I highly suspect that gameplay was fake. Like, because it's one of those things where it looks too smooth and perfect to actually be real. Like, it looked really scripted, which is why I was like, and we've seen that before in some former trailers from Square Enix games. Like the first trailer for Final Fantasy 15, when it was revealed to be 15, that none of that was real. That was all like CG, but it looked real. So like it stands to reason. Most likely that was fake. But like as a proof of concept for like, hey, this is what we want the gameplay to be like, it looked amazing. Yeah, it looked awesome. Like seeing Sora use the Keyblade with like a whip attachment now. What? Huh?
When he like pulls himself to.
Yeah. I was just like, oh my god, that looks so cool. Then fighting the giant dark side looking heartless thing, just like, oh my gosh, this is a new version of Dark Side. Oh my gosh, this looks crazy. We're going to the building now. All right, what are you doing? What's that move? Oh, you turned the Keyblade into a drill. Oh my god, it just looks so good. It looked so good. And then we have at the end the Master of Masters on that rooftop with someone else who we don't know, but just like, ooh, who is this? Who's this other person here? What's going on? How's the Master of Masters going to play into this?
Are those the people in like the black hoodies?
Yes. Yeah. They have not been in any Kingdom Hearts game until Unchained Key, Union Cross, and kind of sort of 3.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not at anything prior to that. Anything prior to those games, when you see people with the black coats, it's Organization 13. But the black coats are kind of like a trademark of Kingdom Hearts at this point. For anyone that you don't know, it's like, who's this person? Throw them in a black coat. Put their hood over them. You'll see their face when you see their face.
Do they do that like the like comedic thing where like, you know, Butch, the like the dog in Disney who's like Goofy, I think. I'm explaining him really poorly. I think his name's Butch.
I don't know this character at all.
I think I've seen a cutscene of him talking to Maleficent.
You mean Pete?
Pete. Okay.
What's the name? Like, who's Butch?
I was convinced his name was Butch, but anyway, do they do the comedic thing where like Pete's like a pretty big dog, but like do they put him in a coat and then like when he takes the coat off, he's like this massive thing that doesn't know?
No, the people wearing the coats the people wearing the coats, you can tell like their body size.
Okay. Like
there's not like a slim coat, huge person under. Yeah. Like no, like the coat is like for the build of that person. Mickey even has one at some point in time. Complete with like ears for the hood as well. It's funny. It's funny. But yeah, so like all that gameplay stuff looks cool. Story-wise, there's so many implications where this could go. It's kind of like a fresh start, but at the same time, it's like the series could go in any direction now. Yeah. In terms of, all right, Sora is here, Riku is trying to get him, other people are trying to find him, but who's gonna get there? How is he gonna get out of there? What is this whole new arc going to be about? Because everything up to this point was the Dark Seeker saga surrounding Xehanort. Now we're in the Lost Masters arc, which is going to involve everything from Union Cross. It's going to all of that stuff. So now it's like, okay, how's all that going to factor into things going forward? What is the story going to be going forward from here? And I'm very much interested in finding it out. I have not gone into the Kingdom Hearts Reddit and looked at any posts on there yet. I've been meaning to this week because I want to like dive into like, what are people thinking? But I haven't gotten a chance yet. But all that, it's so cool. And I think one of the most exciting things, or not exciting, depending on what type of Kingdom Hearts fan you are, in the trailer, there was you saw some environments at certain points. So we saw the city, and then we saw like a forest type environment, right?
I think you know where you're going with this, because I was
Yeah.
just a way to bring this up.
Yeah. There was a sleuth, someone online spotted something in the background. They spotted what they believed to be the foot of an ATST from Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And I said back in 2020, after Melody of Memory came out, I was like, theory, like just random theory, but like, what if they use the concept of fictional worlds and unreality to bring in Marvel and Star Wars to Kingdom Hearts?
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like I'm like 50% right on that. I believe I'm 50% right on that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you look at the side-by-side comparison of that thing in the background and an ATST's foot, it is, you cannot
almost
it.
identical.
It is exactly, it is near identical.
Yeah.
We just can't see the leg, but it is near identical. It is the foot of an ATST. Like Star Wars is there. Star Wars is in Kingdom Hearts. And I've always been of the mindset of, if it happens, cool. If not, I don't care for any Kingdom Hearts game. And I could understand why in the past people didn't want Star Wars and Marvel and Kingdom Hearts, because people will always have the mindset of Star Wars and Marvel aren't traditional Disney.
Yeah.
Which I can, it's not. When you think of Star Wars and Marvel, you don't really think Disney. I mean, now you might, because they've been under them for so long. But at first, you want to think of them as Disney. Just like now, you don't necessarily think of, well, at least some of us might not necessarily think of Bethesda as Xbox. You get what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So they wanted Kingdom Hearts to stay traditional Disney. But now that we're going into a new arc and Kingdom Hearts 3 is done, we're starting with some new stuff. Why not bring in the new things if you can?
Yeah.
And in the past, the only reason it never happened was because of licensing issues. They just weren't able to make stuff happen. But now, we'll say we can make it happen. Let's make it happen. This is the perfect time. And if you're not a fan of traditional Disney being mixed with Star Wars and Marvel, there's the narrative excuse of these being fictional worlds, so they don't even cross over with the others. That's my take on it. That's what I think. I'm all for it right now. I am all for it. Oh my gosh, count me excited and hyped for Kingdom Hearts 4 whenever it comes out. I for certain will be taking like a day or two off of work whenever this game comes out. I took a day off work for Kingdom Hearts 3 when that came out. And when I did that, I had finished like 15 hours of that game. I finished like half of it a day. And I could have finished it in like 2-3 days, but I did it. I purposely like delayed myself.
Yeah.
But I'm not expecting this game until 2024 at the earliest. 2025, I think, is more likely. Just because, of course, the way game dev is, Square Enix, how they work on their games and all, and the fact that Square Enix's lineup for the next few years, it seems like they can have one tentpole each year.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of broke it down like this. Barring any delays, I believe Final Fantasy 16 will come out this year, sometime between October and December. Then there's the rumored Final Fantasy 9 remake. That's all but confirmed at this point. Kingdom Hearts 4 was in that NVIDIA leak.
Yeah.
Chrono Cross Remastered was in it. So many things were in that NVIDIA leak that have been confirmed. Final Fantasy 9 remake is all but confirmed at this point. So if that is a thing, I imagine that could be coming out potentially next year. Next year,
maybe.
If that's what I'm thinking. Depending on how many teams they have, it could be a next year game. Then there's Kingdom Hearts 4 and 7 Remake Part 2. Those are like the wild cards in a sense. I imagine Kingdom Hearts 4 is the farthest out, right?
Yeah.
Well, that and 7 Remake are the farthest out, but 7 Remake, I imagine, has been in development for a bit longer, maybe. Well, maybe not. But neither here nor there. 7 Remake and Kingdom Hearts 4 will not come out in the same year. They are two huge games for Square Enix. The only reason they would come out in the same year is if one is at the beginning and one is at the end. But even then, I don't think that would happen. I think you get one in 2024 and one in 2025. And I think they would also want to give 7 Remakes sequel its own year because it's Final Fantasy 7, and that is just a brand upon itself. So I think that 7 Remakes sequel and Kingdom Hearts 4, one could be 2024, the other could be 2025. It's just a matter of which is which year. You get what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. What would you prefer to come? Like, would you want them to work on Kingdom Hearts 4 longer or 7 Remake Part 2?
I mean, I don't care. Well,
fair.
I mean, I don't care because I want them both to be great games.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want Kingdom Hearts 4 sooner. I want it now. In fact, I can't have it now. So I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's tough actually. It's tough. Like basically you're saying which one would I want to come out in 2024 and which one would I want in 2025?
Yeah.
Kind of sort of. I think I'd want Kingdom Hearts 4, but here's the thing. The reason I'm torn on it is because 7 Remake, like I am really curious to see where they take that story. Just because of the direction it's gone in from the end of the first 7 Remake, which you have not finished yet, right?
Nope.
Yeah, you need to finish that.
Yeah, I have still only played maybe 10 hours of that game.
You need to finish it. Spoilers will be coming soon. I can guarantee if we see that game in some point this summer, spoilers will be abound. People will be talking freely, so you need to finish that game ASAP. We're like 2 months out from people talking about that if it gets shown this summer.
Yeah.
So based off where that game's story ended, and also the Yuffie DLC, I'm really curious to see where that story goes. And also, again, where the gameplay takes us, because now we're going to be open. Now we're more in the world. At this point in the main game, it becomes open world, essentially able to freely travel to different places. So now I'm like, all right, how can I say this? 7 Remakes sequel seems like I will have my hands on it sooner than Kingdom Hearts 4. Yeah. Just because I realized how development works, and not how development works, and also how Square Enix works. That seems like more of an impending game than Kingdom Hearts 4. And I'm really curious to see, like, okay, how are they going to approach things in this next entry? Like, that's what I'm really curious about. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts 4, it's like, do what you got to do, baby. I am here. I'm ready for you whenever you can have me, whenever. I am yours. But yeah, what is it?
You said that 16 might come out this year, right?
I'm thinking it will, because it was supposed to come out last year, and then it got delayed this year, of course. And they said that where's Tabata? He said that not Tabata. I mixed up my people. Yoshida. He said that we would be getting an update on the game this spring, and that when the next time they show off the game, they want to be able to like give the release date, have it come out not too long after that.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting it to come out this year. There's a chance it could be delayed to next year. I don't think that'll happen though. I think it'll be this year.
So how do you think that fits into their timeline, considering Forspoken is out in October?
That's why I said October to December. Because 15 came out in December, at the beginning of December.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a chance it could be a September thing, but I think that's far too soon in regards to like showing the game off and then marketing. I mean, hey, spring is anywhere from now until end of June. So they could have showed something off in May and then be like, and it's out in September. But I don't think they'd want to be right on top of Forspoken like that. I think, if anything, they would want to do Forspoken first and then 16 afterwards. Because if you do 16 first, then Forspoken is just going to be compared to 16.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean. And like on top of that, everyone's just going to be wanting to play 16 instead of Forspoken. You do Forspoken first, it's not being directly compared to 16 like that. And also it gets to have its moment in the sun before 16 comes out. It takes all the wind out of that Square Enix room. You get what I mean? Yeah. That's why I think if Forspoken's October, then, which I actually forgot about, Final Fantasy 16 could be December. I think they'd want to give enough room. I mean, maybe like, and literally a month later, end of November, I'd say mid-November, something like that. But December seems like a likely bet. Because I mean, 15 did really well when it came out in December. Yeah. It did really well sales-wise and stuff. I mean, it was also super hyped, but it did well for Square Enix. So I think 16 could come out in December too. Yeah,
and I mean, I think 16 is gonna like, if it does release like around the time when like a lot of like big name games are releasing between, like you say, October and December, it will have the advantage of it says Final Fantasy in the box, and people are going to buy that.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying you don't put that out before Forspoken, or at least not in a short time frame before Forspoken. And if it would come out before, it would have to be September, maybe August. But that seems a bit too soon for that to happen. So that's what I'm saying. In December, it seems more likely, if it's this year at all.
Yeah.
But that's where I fall on things with all of that. Kingdom Hearts 4 is real. Man, like it was the boost I needed this week. It was the one thing that it made me very happy. It made me so very happy to see that. And I know I'm going on about this for a long time and everything like that. And I apologize. Not really. No, sorry. I do apologize for going on about this. But I tweeted this out on Twitter. Kingdom Hearts 3 was announced on a day where I was just like down in the dumps when it happened. But I remember that announcement, watching the Sony E3 press conference. I was like, okay, cool. Kingdom Hearts thing. All right. It's going to be about, it's going to be another remaster. Then I was like, wait a second, hold on. I was like, they're showing more stuff here. Wait, what's happening? And then I was like, Sora, okay. Graphical change. Whoa, don't do this. What's happening? What's happening? And then the Kingdom Hearts 3, and it was just like, oh my God, like blew my mind. Was not expecting it in any way, shape, or form. Like boosted my mood up and everything. Kingdom Hearts 4 announced 9 years later at a rougher point in the life, but came and just gave me something to be happy about, boosted my mood up. And nice. Thank you, Kingdom Hearts. Thank you, Kingdom Hearts, for being able to do that, for just coming in at just the right time and giving me something to be so happy about. Oh man, it's so exciting. It sucks that you're not into Kingdom Hearts, because oh my God, if you were, then like that we could have been going back and forth about theories and everything. But
well, when Kingdom Hearts 5 get announced, that's when we'll have our nerd out.
We'll see. Hopefully you'll be into it at that point in time. But Kingdom Hearts 4 is real. Kingdom Hearts hype. Let's get hyped. The train starts now. We're all aboard the Kingdom Hearts train. Or at least I am. If you're not, get on the train.
I've got 1 foot on.
You got 1 foot on. Let's get the other foot on.
Yeah.
2, get yourself in there, strapped in, hop in your gummy ship, get your keyblade. Let's go.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say on this is I imagine, you can expect this level of conversation when Silksong finally gets shown again.
Whenever that is. Whenever that is.
I feel like that might be something like we kind of share in common, where it's like Kingdom Hearts fans don't really get updates all that often, so like Hollow Knight fans don't either.
Yeah, I'm sorry for you all. I'm very sorry.
Some updates that we did get this week, though, is some CD Projekt Red games.
Yes.
I am conscious of time, so we're probably not going to spend anywhere near as long talking about this stuff, but honestly, doesn't really need it.
Sorry again, but also not sorry.
No, dude, you're absolutely fine.
Like I said, sorry, not sorry. Kingdom Hearts type.
The Witcher 3 has sold more than 40 million copies, which is a criminally low number for that game, in my opinion.
It took me a minute to realize what you said. I'm just like, wait, what? Huh? What does he mean? Criminally low? I was like, oh, he's joking. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
In other news that has made me very sad, The Witcher 3 Series X and S and PS5 and PC update versions as well have been brought in-house, but they have been delayed. They were previously scheduled for a release in Q2 of this year, and it was previously being worked on by Russian developer Saber Interactive. CDPR has not stated whether the change is related to the effect of the war in Ukraine. However, I would imagine it has at least something to do with that. I'm very sad about it. I was really looking forward to do another playthrough of The Witcher. But that's put on hold for now, unfortunately.
Yeah. And when I saw this, I was just like, well, guess I'm not playing Witcher 3 for a while. Because I could play the PS4 versions, but when these versions come out, I would want to try these too. And I'm not about to play Witcher 3 twice. Like it's a game where, like Persona 5 Royal, I imagine it's a time sink, and I'm not gonna have the time to do it twice. I would have to really put things aside to do 2 playthroughs of it, and not gonna happen. So whenever this happens for PS5, the next gen version, the new gen version, I should say, that's when I'll jump into Witcher 3. Take your time.
Yeah, no, yeah, 100%. Like, take your time and make it good. But like, I'm in the same boat as you. It's like I would love to go and replay The Witcher 3 now because it's been a few years since I played it. But like, I'm not gonna play through it again and then play through it again when the new gen versions come out because that game is easily over 100 hours. So no.
Yeah.
In some Cyberpunk news, Cyberpunk has sold more than 18 million copies, and the Cyberpunk 2077 expansion isn't coming until 2023.
Yep. Real quick before we get to this question, I wonder how many of those 18 million copies were like day one. Because remember, like they said that they like made their money back just off pre-orders alone.
Yeah.
And I forgot, I think they had set a specific number of copies that had been sold like day one or like that first week. I forgot how many it was. I feel like it was, I want to say it was something like 12. Am I right? Am I wrong? But I mean, that could also be really off base because it's been a year and change. So that if they only sold 6 million more since then, that'd be wild. But at the same time, also very feasible considering all the problems the game's had.
The pre-orders for the game were around 8 million units, according to thegamer.com.
Okay, so I was a bit off. But that's still a bit wild to think like, wow.
Yeah.
Like 8 million of those copies were just day one. They've sold 10 million more in the year and change since, especially considering all of the issues that Cyberpunk 2077 had in the months after its initial release. Like, that's still wild to think. All the problems they had, all the refunds that people did on the game and stuff. It's absolutely wild to see how much that game is sold.
Yeah. Just as like a fun thing, if you average, say, the pre-orders for that game were on average $50, right? Just with sales and codes and whatnot that people might use. The game made $400 million before it even came out.
Exactly. Like I said, they made their money back. Yeah. Like the game was profitable. I don't know if it was profitable, but they made their money back on it before, just off pre-orders, which is just wild to think. I don't hear you. You might have muted yourself.
I accidentally muted my mic because I'm in. So I was saying that I see you put a question in here. Is this too late for Cyberpunk to get substantial new content? Do you want to answer that first, or do you want me to
go? I want you to answer it first. Like this expansion this expansion is coming out 2023. The game came out in 2020, and they had to spend a lot of time fixing this game and then getting the new gen version out, which the new gen version just came out a month ago.
Yep.
Actually, almost a month to the day. What do you think?
In my opinion, like, no, but like borderline. Like it's so close to being just like too far out from that game's launch to get new content that I think at that point, unless you are invested in like the continuation of Cyberpunk 2077, like you want to see how it plays out, or you enjoyed the initial game or whatever, unless you're like actively interested in playing that game again, I don't think it's soon enough to get new content, at least new substantial content.
You've been too late. You've been too late or too soon? Because you said too soon.
Too late.
There you go. Yeah. See, like I think it's borderline because of the fact that they had to spend so much time fixing the original game and then getting the new gen versions out. But at the same time, that's 3 years. Like, even if you want to say, okay, just to beginning of 2023, all right, 2 years and a month, regardless, that's still 2 years without any substantial new content.
Yeah.
Like what we got the new gen update, like some free DLCs that might be like, oh, cosmetic stuff or what have you, but like nothing actually substantial. So for the first expansion, and who knows, maybe the only expansion to come to this game to be 3 years later, it's just like, at that point, how many people are going to care? How many people are going to want to play it? At that point, is it going to be a new gen version only expansion? Are they even going to put it out on PS4 and Xbox One at that point? You get what I mean? And
Yeah.
if this is the first expansion, if they're going to do more, like how many more are you going to do? At what point do you say, all right, cut off the first one, let's move on to the sequel for Cyberpunk? You get what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
How long did it take for the first expansion for Witcher 3 to come out?
Let me look that up.
Because I mean, as far as I understand, Witcher 3, while not as troubled as Cyberpunk, did have issues of its own at launch that CDPR had to fix. But I just wonder like when the first expansion for it came out in relation to when the initial game released. Like I would like to think the base game came out 2015. So I'm guessing I would like to say that the first DLC, the first expansion came out 2016. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Sorry, I am looking it up on Steam just now. The first expansion was Hearts of Stone.
I'm so smart. I was thinking that was the name in my head because I know the other one is Blood and Wine,
which came out October 13th, 2015.
Same year.
Yeah. And then
again, I'm granted, like Witcher 3 had less issues that needed to be worked out than Cyberpunk, but the exact same year you got your first expansion. And Blood and Wine, I think that had to be like no later than 2017 because I remember reading stuff about that. I feel like I remember reading stuff about it. What?
I clicked on something that said it was Blood and Wine, but it's the soundtrack, and the release date for that is February 10th, 2020. I'm like, nah, that's not right.
That's definitely not right. I feel like Blood and Wine was 2017. If not, then maybe 2018, but I think that's a bit too late. I think it was 2017.
Going on.
Am I right?
The expansion pass just now. This is taking way too long to look up.
Let's see if I'm right.
Expansion pass. Where's the link? Where's the link for Blood and Wine, Steam?
I mean, let's see. I'm gonna Google this. Blood and Wine. Here we go. Yeah, I just Googled Blood and Wine 2016.
Yeah, May 30th, 2016. So like 6-7 months after.
Yeah.
October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 7 months.
Yeah. So like development pipelines for different games are different all the time. And like that,
yeah,
that is what it is. But just in comparison, it's just like, are people going to care by this point? People still cared by the time those expansions for Witcher came out because they weren't too long after. They weren't too far spaced apart. But for Cyberpunk, it's like 3 years. That's a long time to wait for anything substantial to come to that game.
Yeah, I mean, the most substantial thing we've had for Cyberpunk is obviously the new gen versions, but they added 4 new apartments to the game. And that's really, I mean, at least in my opinion, that's really the most substantial thing we've gotten. And it annoys me to no end that you can't view the apartments before you buy them.
I didn't know that. Now I do. Yeah, I'll probably still play the stuff when it comes out, but I'll have to respec my entire character because I haven't, everything got reset with the new update. So it'll be interesting for sure, but I don't know if I'm going to care that much when it comes out. They're going to have to do a lot of work to like get me excited again. And I'm not just me, I'm sure it'd get a lot of people excited and like hyped to actually play this new stuff come next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. Like, I'm still going to play it because I enjoyed Cyberpunk, but at the same time, like, I think about that game like so infrequently, just because of like there's nothing new with it.
I only think about it when it's a headline.
Exactly. Yeah.
I also thought about it when I deleted it off my PS5 the other day.
Nice.
Well, off my external hard drive, I was like, I don't need you anymore. I don't need you anymore. I don't need this. Just delete stuff. I'm not gonna touch you. So goodbye.
Yep. I think I deleted it as well, actually. I can't remember. Moving on to our final main news story of the week, that Certain Affinity and Halo Infinite are deepening, or at least Certain Affinity and 343 Industries are deepening their relationship. And Certain Affinity are now entrusted with, quote, entrusted with further evolving Halo Infinite in some new and exciting ways, end quote.
Those are their words right there.
Yeah. That was in their Twitter post, right?
Yep, that was on their Twitter post that I have got it linked right here. That's where
Oh
they
yeah.
kind of announced this whole thing. They say, we've been part of the Halo franchise for more than 15 years, and we're honored to say we're deepening our relationship with 343 and have been entrusted with further evolving Halo Infinite in some new and exciting ways. Because for the longest time, Certain Affinity, they've kind of been a support studio for a number of games, but specifically Halo. They've been a support studio over there with them for a while, which leads into the second little point we got here about this whole story.
Yes, according to Jez Corden from Windows Central, the specifics of the mode they're working on is codenamed
Tatanka.
Tatanka.
Yeah, it's tough to read.
Yeah. Are still unknown, but it will potentially have a battle royale elements, including an arena that shrinks over time. I've seen like a bunch of opinions, like even before Halo was coming out, they're like Halo Infinite needed a battle royale to. I think we've spoken about this before. Like it needed a battle royale to succeed. I don't think that's necessarily true, but I certainly don't think it would hurt it. And I think Halo is one of the games that is suited to a battle royale mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. And here's the thing: like whenever people said that before launch, it was like people in the esports community like, oh, if Halo Infinite doesn't launch with the battle royale as a failure, it's a giant missed opportunity. And it's like Halo Infinite at launch did not need a battle royale. Nope. What Halo Infinite needed at launch was to be a good Halo game.
Yeah.
First and foremost, it needed to be a good Halo game.
Mm-hmm.
Battle Royale. Once they got that done, then you could focus on bringing Battle Royale. And I think that's like the distinction that people missed a whole lot. And well, at least the esports people I saw making those statements. I think it's a distinction that they missed, where it's like, yes, no one's saying that Halo and Battle Royale wouldn't be a good mix. It'd be a great mix, but having that be a focus for launch was not what 343 needed to focus on for Halo Infinite. Like they needed to focus on making it first and foremost a really great Halo game, which they did. That everyone always praised the gameplay. The gameplay of Halo Infinite is phenomenal. It's really great. It's stellar. It's awesome. Halo Infinite's problem has just been content since then.
Yeah.
And something I've also seen people say since Halo launched is whenever this battle royale thing gets brought up, like, well, here's the thing. If Halo Infinite did have a battle royale at launch, what would the support have been like for it? Because look what the support is like for the game for the past couple months. So it would have had a battle royale that people still would have been complaining about. It's a battle royale with no content or without getting any real content updates.
Yeah, exactly. Something that popped in my head that I saw on IGN that I'm just going to read the title of. It's an article by Ryan Dinsdale. Just Halo Infinite Season 2 will add new maps, modes, and events. So like they're adding more content, but not soon enough.
Yeah, I mean, we 2 maps?
Yeah.
2 maps and a few modes. Like that's not really going to set the world on fire. Not to say that it's easy to make maps or anything, but I mean, you and I have talked about this before. Only 2 maps after X amount of time. That's disappointing to say the very least.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, Battle Royale, back to the question, like it'd be cool. I think it would. What I would like to see in a Halo Battle Royale, it's a tough question, but like I think that they could use. I mean, they could even use just like, all right, the campaign map. Bam, drop you right in on the campaign map. And I mean, that might be a bit boring to say the least, but like maybe they could use it as like a baseline. Here's the campaign map as your baseline. You have, of course, there are the warthogs you can use. Mm-hmm. There are, maybe you can use pelicans, perhaps. No, not pelicans. No, not them. The
Falcons.
Yes, the Falcons. I was like, yeah, the Pelican. No, how that was a bit too powerful for Battle Royale. Maybe you could use a Falcon to get around. Like the way you could implement Halo vehicles into a Battle Royale would be really cool. That'd be awesome to see.
Mm-hmm. All right, question. Do you mean the Falcon or the Wasp? Because the
Wasp.
Yeah,
the Wasp is okay. That's the one in multiplayer. The one in multiplayer is the one I was thinking of, and that's the Wasp.
Yeah, because I was thinking like I don't think a Falcon has been in. At least a drivable Falcon or a flyable Falcon has been in Halo since Halo Reach.
Yeah, the Wasp is what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
it's been. Can you tell it's been a while since I've played Halo Infinite? Can you tell?
I would actually like to see them bring back the Falcon if they were going to do a battle royale, especially if they're doing like, like duos or quads or trios or whatever, because the Wasp, you can fit one, I think two people, I think it has a second seat, maybe, I don't know. But
Mhm.
the Falcon is like a one pilot, then you can get like two or three people or four people actually in the rear. And it has like
Mhm.
two machine gun turrets on either side. So it's like a troop transport kind of thing. So I think that would be a good one to bring in for battle royale. And then you could even you've never been able to pilot them before, I don't think, at least off the top of my head. But those like U-shaped covenant dropships.
Yes, I know which ones.
Yeah, I would actually quite like to see that be, or at least some form of that be brought in as like a like alternative to the Falcon for like, I don't know, a different team.
Hmm. I wonder, would you want to see um enemies, like NPC enemies on the map? But what makes me think of that is that it could be a way to, get some neat loot from
Yeah,
in the battle royale. Could be an interesting way. And I think about Black Ops 4, how their battle royale mode Blackout, there were like zombies points around the
yeah,
map where there were actually zombies, and like you killed the zombies and then you would get like a special thing, a bit of loot from like wherever they were. um Maybe they could do that in this. I think that could be neat, and a way to help, distinguish Halo's battle royale from other battle royale modes, and
yeah,
keep it, also feeling like Halo 2. Like, you imagine you're running in the world, and then you see some covenant and some banished, right? They're all banished. You see some banished, and you start fighting them. You take them on, and then another squad comes in from the side, starts shooting at you. Pow, pow, pow. You take them out. Cool. And then you keep on going, and then you see like a hunter or something, and you see a hunter going up against another squad. And you're like, all right, we can either work together to kill this hunter. Like, I can either help them kill this hunter and then kill them, or I can wait
yeah.
and see who wins and then take them on by myself. But if it's the hunter, I might be tougher. You get what I mean? Like, that stuff
Yeah,
could be cool. Could be a neat dynamic.
yeah, I actually like the idea, but I think I would like it if it wasn't like you would just stumble upon like like a small enemy encounter or something. It would be like an event that would pop up and like everyone on the map gets alerted to its location. If that
That
makes
could
sense.
be, yeah, that could be interesting too. Like
Yeah.
special ones every now and then, like, oh, high value target dropping in over
Yeah,
here.
yeah, exactly. And like you have maybe like two or three of those a match at
Yeah.
most.
I think it would be best if there were, if you had like the weaker enemies just like in the world, right?
Yeah,
But then you would have a high value enemy drop a couple times per match. And like you kill the high value enemy and you get like really good stuff from them.
yeah,
Where that could be like a banished, like uh military commander or whatever, like with the giant hammer. Like, it could be like
yeah,
one of the bosses you would have fought in the campaign or something. Not their name specifically, but like an enemy like that,
yeah.
or just something cool like that. I think would help. That's a siren on my end if you hear it.
Okay, yeah. I was like, is that my cat making that sound?
Sorry, I muted myself because it was trying to go by. But yeah, do you think Battle Royale would help save Halo Infinite right now, or do you think it would just or would it be like a permanent save or like a temporary save?
I think it would be temporary because like yeah, it would bring more people back in, but then you have to maintain it. You have to add more content to it. You have to have like events, or you have to like do cool things with like Call of Duty does with Warzone or Epic does with Fortnite. Like you have to have that kind of stuff in it to get it to increase its longevity. And if you treat it the way that you've been treating Halo Infinite so far, no, it's not going to save it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. People love battle royales. People will
Yeah,
play battle royales or watch battle royales for hours on end. So I mean, I think it'll be a temporary enough save whenever it happens, but it's a matter of when it happens too.
yeah.
Like, it has to come. It can't come too late.
No,
Just
exactly.
like the
Like
Cyberpunk DLC, it cannot come too late.
no, I think if they're gonna do it, they have to release it by, I'm gonna say at like the absolute latest this time next year.
I think that's fair enough. At like far, yeah, absolute latest this time. I think ideal would be season 3.
Yeah, exactly. It's like by the end of the year would be like the best case scenario for Halo Infinite. But like if you need more time to work on it, don't release it any later by like next May.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens
Yeah.
with it.
That's going to wrap up our main news stories for this week. So we're going to get to our brief mentions, which I am very quickly going to rattle through. So I'm just going to go ahead. If you have anything, just raise your hand.
Of course.
Microsoft is apparently looking for ways to implement ads into free-to-play Xbox games. No, thank you. PlayStation has invested a further $1 billion into Epic Games, following on from their $450 million total investment in 2021. Kojima confirms he is not joining PlayStation or PlayStation Studios. Kojima posted a picture of the PlayStation Studios banner with games from all of Sony's first-party studios and also Death Stranding. And 10 minutes later, tweeted, quote, I seem to have invited misinterpretation, but Kojima Productions, has been and will continue to be an independent production studio, end quote.
This was an interesting 24 hours of Twitter. Very interesting 24
I can
hours.
imagine so. Sony and Nintendo are changing their subscription renewal systems. Sony will stop taking money if you don't use the system for an extended period of time, and Nintendo won't have automatic renewal as the default option.
Good.
Exactly. Bungie is implementing permanent work from home systems, but currently only in California, Florida, Illinois, Oregon, North Carolina, Texas, and Washington. But a spokesperson from Bungie said this is, quote, only the start.
Good. Very good.
QuakeCon 2022 will be a digital-only event again.
But they're trying to do in person next year.
Yes.
It did say that.
Vicarious Visions has just been merged into Blizzard Entertainment.
It's official. It's official now. Womp womp. Sad face.
Bugsnax, the nightmare-fueled PlayStation exclusive, kind of, or PlayStation backed game, I guess, comes to Game Pass, all versions, so cloud, console, and PC, and Switch on April 28th. The new Isle of Big Snacks expansion releases the same day for all platforms and will be free on PlayStation.
Yep. I still have to get around to playing Bugsnax. I got it on my PS5.
Nah.
Just got to get around to it.
I'm good. Sojourn. Yeah.
Sojourn. Yes. Sojourn. The new Overwatch character.
New Overwatch 2 hero. An origin story and gameplay trailer have been revealed for her. A fan-made recreation of Club Penguin has been shut down by Disney due to copyright infringement. I mentioned this to Tyler before, but like I'm very positive we were talking about Club Penguin like either last week or the week before.
I don't remember this happening at all. I'm not saying it didn't. I just don't remember it. Make of that as you will.
Yeah. And finally, Melanie Proctor, a top lawyer for the state of California, has resigned and accused Governor Gavin Newsom of interfering with the Activision Blizzard discrimination lawsuit. Not good.
Not good at all. Just another wrinkle in this Activision Blizzard case. And I'm not a California, but another reason that people are not liking him.
Something that I was going to mention that I forgot to put in here, but just real quick. Apparently, like somebody has advised the shareholders of Activision Blizzard to vote against the.
I saw that story and I did read it, but I don't remember much about it. So, I think it might be people in the company advised them not to. Again, I don't remember the specifics of it, but I did read that article.
That's all our brief mentions. So we're gonna just go into what we have been playing. I'll go first because I've got one thing and I don't really have anything else to add on. Well, much else. Played more Wonderlands, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Still enjoying that game. Still having a very good time. It's gotten a lot bigger than I thought it was. Like the overworld, like it kind of like unlocks in stages. So as far as I can tell, there are 3 areas of the overworld, and I'm in area 3 just now. I think I've only got like 1 or 2 chapters left before I finish the story. The story is only 11 missions long, so like it's not.
Oh, interesting.
Not super long. Like they're longer than Borderlands missions. If like I think I'm remembering that right, they're a little longer. I think each one is taking me maybe like 30 minutes, maybe 45. So like they're a little longer, but I'm a little disappointed there's only 11 of them. I thought this was going to be like as long as like your typical Borderlands game is, which I think is maybe 16 or 17. Excuse me, but I'm a little disappointed that it's only 11 and that I'm close to finishing it, but I like close to finishing the story. I still have a lot to do. And I also,
in terms of side stuff and everything.
like side stuff, like finding all the lucky dice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if they're using the thing they use in Borderlands, where it's like just in Borderlands 2, you have like I think it's like normal Vault Hunter, true Vault Hunter, or like the different
those
like,
difficulties.
yeah. Where like each one you go up, you get like better loot and better XP and stuff, but the enemies get harder. So I don't know if they're using that. I will update you on that next week.
Do you think you would do it if they haven't?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. He's gonna stick it out. He's gonna do some more Wonderlands, I should say. Do some more Wonderlands. Cool. I'm happy you're enjoying it. Think you'll be done with it by next week for the next week's episode?
The story, at least, yeah. I don't know about all the sides. Like, I can't imagine it like it's gonna take too long, but like even some of the side missions are taking me like half an hour, 45 minutes.
Okay, cool. Cool. I'm looking forward to hearing your final thoughts on it once you're all done with the game.
Yeah.
Gonna be interesting to see. Well, what I've been playing this week, I finished God of War. I'm actually surprised I finished it in a week. I didn't think I was going to. It wasn't until replaying the game that I realized, oh wait, the game's shorter than I remembered it being. Either it's shorter than I remembered it being, or my first playthrough was just longer than I remembered it being, because I think I did more side stuff throughout the game as opposed to this time. With this time, I still did a fair amount of side stuff. Like whenever the lake lowered, I went around to each of the islands to see what new stuff I could do and everything. But at a certain point, I didn't do that anymore. I was like, actually, I just kind of want to go to the story and everything. So finish the story. I did 3 Valkyrie fights, and each of the 3 Valkyrie fights I did were way easier than my first time ever doing them. So I was actually surprised myself. I was like, okay, either I'm just good and I remember their moves real well, or B, I'm good and I'm picking up on their moves well, or C, did I just suck when I first went against them? Because these 3 were not that hard. But I remember the first one giving me so much trouble when I first went against it back in 2018. But very impressed with myself on that. I deleted it after I finished it because I was like, I could go back and do more of the post-game stuff, but I really didn't want to. I really was just replaying it just for the story, just to replay the story again, just to play the game again. It was a fun time. And I gotta say, I was really amazed just by like how much foreshadowing was done throughout the game for certain events. Like, and when you first meet, I don't know if it's when you first meet Freya, but it's one of the conversations you have with Freya at her place, and she talks about how there was a prophecy about her son having a needless death. And with that line, I was just like, oh my God. From that moment on, completely shifted my perspective at the end of the game. I was like, that prophecy kind of turned out to be true, didn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of turned out to be true anyway. I was just like, wow, like completely just like shifted my perspective of the entire game story and like certain aspects and character dynamics and all like that. It was just, that game is still so good. It's still so good. And I'm very much looking forward to Ragnarok when it comes out. And I'm happy I've replayed it now, because if I didn't replay it now, chances are I would not have replayed it before Ragnarok came out. Because I feel like Ragnarok is going to be coming out in the next couple months, and I don't want to play this game too close to that, which is why I did it now. Also, forgot how many times they mentioned Tyr in this game. They talk about him a lot. So I'm like, okay, kind of helped me refresh things on him too, since he's going to be in Ragnarok. So that was cool. But then this week, I said, you know what? Do I want to go full anime, or full Souls? And I was back and forth on it. And I said, you know what? We're going to do Demon Souls. I haven't played this game aside from the 1 hour I did in 2020. And then it got put on the back burner for a number of other things. But I said, no, now's the time. So last night, I restarted Demon Souls on the PS5. And I played for, I believe, a total like close to 3 hours of game time. And I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. It's fun. I beat the first boss. I got up to the Tower Knight, and I stopped at the Tower Knight. I died at the Tower Knight 3 times, and I was like, okay, I'm going to bed. I'm not going to beat him tonight. I need to really plan around him, because he's really big and really strong. I am small and I'm kind of slow. And the move I need to do, like what I need to do, I need to hit his foot. But it's not easy to hit his foot because he constantly has his shield in front of his foot and he's constantly turning. So he's always in front of you. So I think it's like you kind of have to try and go for his foot when he attacks, I think. But it's not going to be an easy fight, is what I'm trying to say. So I need some more time. I need to spend more time with it. But I am very much enjoying Demon Souls. I'm playing as a knight. I'm doing a knight run right now, which I think is like it's kind of like a all-around class, I believe, based on what I've understood and read. So I'm enjoying it. I am going to be doing some more. I don't know. I think I might jump between this and Crosscode and Scarlet Nexus because that was the anime game I was going to play.
Oh, okay.
I might play Scarlet Nexus on my Xbox. Just do a bounce around between all three games. But like for Demon Souls, I was like, when I first go back to it, I want to like dive into it for a good couple hours. I don't want to just do like an hour again, then put it on hold. Yeah. And like I want to actually play it for a bit, get invested, get immersed in that world, and then be like, all right, cool. I have a better feel for it. So I'm enjoying it. It's cool. Dragons are scary. But dragons can be abused. Dragons can be abused on that bridge. You got some enemies coming at me. All right, I'm just gonna walk back a bit. Oh, hey, dragon. Hey, you want to come on over this way? All right, cool. Come this way. I'm gonna dodge and I'm gonna let you get set on fire by this dragon. That's what I'm gonna do right now. You gotta learn how to do those things. But I'm enjoying it. It's cool. Good game so far. That's all I've been playing this week.
Nice. I was going to talk about that. My next boss in Elden Ring, I'm fairly certain is Gottfried the Golden, which is like one of the like big main bosses of the game. Yeah. So I am not looking forward to that fight. I haven't like seen any art for him. I haven't seen what his fight's like, but I can already tell I'm gonna hate it. So.
I mean, you haven't gotten to Melania or the Star Scourge Radon. According to what I've heard, those two are like, ooh, those are doozies right there. So have fun when you get to them.
We'll see if I ever make it to them. I might get stuck on Comfrey.
I will say, playing Demon Souls last night when I was playing it and enjoying it, I was like, Elden Ring is seeming more likely to me at some point in time. What I've been thinking is I'll do Demon Souls, see how much I like that, see how far I get in it, try Bloodborne again, see how far I get in that, and then go to Elden Ring. I think that'll be like a nice progression.
Yeah. I think I tried to beat the first boss in Bloodborne like 60 times and failed.
I never got past the first section of Bloodborne. So I've made more progress in Demon Souls than I did in Bloodborne.
Yeah, I've made more progress in Elden Ring than I have in Bloodborne as well. And Bloodborne's meant is like...
It's more fast-paced and action and stuff. So we'll see.
Anyway.
I think also Elden Ring's like a nice amalgamation of everything they've done so far. So that's kind of why I want to do the progression that I am right now.
Yeah. Anyway, that will end episode 54 of the Play to Win podcast. Thank you all very much for listening. As a reminder, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Play to Win Game. I've done these in order, but it doesn't matter. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Play to Win Game, where you'll get updates on the show, any random stuff that we post, any announcements we have to make. You can also find us on our website, playtowingames.wordpress.com, where you can find all of our content. Every single thing that we've ever made is on that site. So go ahead and check it out, as well as our like review guide or review policy, about us sections, blah, blah, blah. Also, subscribe to us here on YouTube and on podcast services, so you know when new episodes of the podcast go live. If you're on YouTube, take notification bell. You'll be one of the first people to be notified as to new stuff. Also, comment, share, review, all the things on podcast services, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, everything we do. Very, very much appreciate it. Helps us out a lot. Tyler, where can people find you?
You can find me over on Twitter at TylerMiller2496, where I am reveling in the Kingdom Hearts 4 hype. I want anyone and everyone who's a Kingdom Hearts fan to hit me up over on Twitter. Talk to me about Kingdom Hearts 4. What we think where we think the story is going to go. What we think is going to happen with Sora. How is Yozora going to play into things if he's in one at all? What's going to be happening with Riku? What are we thinking? What do we want to happen with Kairi? What do we think she's doing right now in this game? I want to know the theories. I want your thoughts. I want to talk about all of this with all of you. So hit me up on Twitter to talk about it at TylerMiller2496, or we could also have a conversation about it in the comment section of this video on YouTube.
Yep.
So talk about it down there in the comment section down below. Kingdom Hearts 4 hype. Kingdom Hearts 4 is real. It's happening. It is announced. God is good. If there is a God, he is great.
Or the comment section on our site, since there's one there. You can also post on.
There's that too.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at badlynet, BADLYNET, all one word. I tweet some stuff sometimes.
Every now and then. Occasionally.
Occasionally. Thank you all very much for watching episode 54, and we will see you all next week for episode 55.
Because 55 was after 54.
Yep.
Have a great one.